Good afternoon. Great, great, man. So it should be good evening, right? Very good. So, I'm Pinal. Thanks for the introduction. I'm here to talk about a very interesting subject. Subject is T-SQL worst practices. You know, the name itself has intrigued me. It makes me think, worst practices. Do we really want to learn the worst practices? Or do we want to learn the best practices? So, what is the importance of the worst practices? To learning about them, we can correct it. All these things, philosophy is given to us. So, I'm going to leave all these fundamentals on all of you. So, this particular session, I want to do something interesting. I want to make it, you have been listening since morning, right? Everybody comes here and talks to you. So, here we are going to reverse it. You are going to help me out to complete the session. Okay? Session is like, I created something, I have something with me. What we are going to do, you guys are going to help me to complete the session in next 45 minutes, okay? I'm going to make sure at 6 o'clock we are done. I'm going to make sure that the last guy also can read the screen. So couple of things, I'll take care of it. But in return, what I want is that I want you guys to help me to create the session, okay? So before I start, I want to show you something very interesting. Why we are going to learn about worst practices. I'm going to start with a small video. And just pay attention to the video, because this 1 minute video is really everything what I wanted to say in this particular session. 4 years ago, a guy started to build something interesting. What he's trying to do, he's building this dominoes. I'm sure all of you guys have seen this video. So he's doing this kind of thing. It took him 4 years to do this. 4 years. See, he's working hard. You need to be very patient about it. I mean, you need to focus. You need to do things. You need to do things right. After 4 years, he built this thing. And in one fine moment, that guy is extremely happy and decided to start this thing. I know this is going to all go live or all going to go away in a few milliseconds. That was the goal. But it worked 4 years. It took him to do this, and look how wonderfully masterly crafted this thing is. It's going smoothly. Parallel lines, parallelism, just working what it has to be do. It is doing. It is doing it. Okay. Stop for a second. Then it will stop a couple of more times, and these guys have edited those part out. You will see some disconnections here and there. See, the reason was that he changed the angle because, see, this at the time, if you see the original video, which is a 4 minute, he has to stop so many times. And at one fine day, he couldn't handle it. He couldn't handle it. Thanks to the guy, this is what you end up doing. This is, when I see this particular video, I felt like, isn't this something we have seen all the time? We start our development, we start our projects and all this thing 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, project manager changes and all these things, we keep on doing it. But we forgot those small things in it. We forget to follow the best practices. The perfect vision from the guy from the day one gets diluted as the time goes by. Many hand touches the project, and often we end up making mistake. So there can be millions of the mistakes. But in this particular session, I'm going to cover few small mistakes only, which is very common. Like, when the project starts, do you think people start thinking that we'll make sure this page runs 15 seconds? No, they always think, when we're designing it, the architecture always think, this page is going to run in a split millisecond. But it ends up taking time. So that's what it is. So I think we have talked about enough. This is me. All the lazy people. If you're tired by now, you can just take out your mobile camera and take photograph of this thing. You can ask me questions on this one and anything you want. All the script which I'm going to show, this is absolutely demo-oriented thing. I have only 4 or 5 slides just to get things going. But we are going to have 40 minutes of demos. So that's the goal. Okay? So I guess we know what we are going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about the performance of not in. I'm going to talk about how the count works. I'm going to talk about how the incorrect data type works. Also, we are going to talk about where clause and how the order by also affects, and couple of advanced things. At the end of the day, When you walk out from this session, this is our goal. I want all the developer not to do the things which you are going to see. I'm doing it in the next 40 minutes, okay? All right, I guess enough introduction. Let's start doing the demo. I'm quickly building a small table. Let us see the output of this one. All right, so what is it? I have run select star from source, a table name is source, select star from target, a table name is target. Two simple table. I'm selecting a data. First one has two statements. One is Denali and one is Crescent. Here I see a 4 different line. If I just very quickly see, I can see this one, the statement 1 is common between them. But other statements are not common. The guy in the last can see it? Awesome. So this is our result set. Please memorize it for a split second. If you have memory like Gajini, that will still work. Because all the demos are 15 minutes. So by the time you forget, I'm okay with it. Okay. Here it starts. What I'm going to do, I'm going to select star from source. And I'm going to see which row or which record set or which column or which whatever you want to say. Which row is also in the table target. Quickly I know this is a source table and I know the Denali row is in a target table. So when I run this one, so what will be the answer? Denali. Agreed. All of you are right. So small giveaways. So now the same script I have and I'm just going to put a note here. Only difference. Can all of you see the script from the back or should I increase more fonts? What is that? Yes means? Yes, you can see the script. Awesome. So only difference is now I'm adding this word not. Everything else is still same, okay? So previously I got Denali. Now what should I get? If I just add in, first time I got this, every other time I should get this. How many of you think this should be the answer? Sorry about that, sir, careful. How many of you think this one will be the answer? How many of you think this will be the answer? Raise your hand. This is the last session of the day. Show your energy. Come on, man. Just, also remaining all of you think it won't be the answer? Answer will be something else? What will be the something else answer? Then answer me that. What is Crescent will be answer? Okay, so two answers. First is either these three, and I got a second set of people who are saying, awesome man, I love you guys. You are so good. I mean, I'm impressed. I am particularly interested. So, remaining set of the people think what will be the Crescent will be answer, right? How many of you think this will be the answer? Awesome, so remaining people. And how many of you did not raise the hand? All of you null guys, I love you guys. Really, do you know what? This is what it is. I'm from the database field. Even a bit has a 3 value. Yes, no, and null. What about that? I mean, think about it. How many value bit can have? Yes, no, and null. Let me tell you a very interesting story before I go to the next demo. My parents really are very good at mathematics. And they are very good in database too. Seriously. You know what happened when they have to name me? They thought, we really love database. You know, the number, pi, pi, first 2 letters. What is good in database? Null is always there. Pinal. You know, I realized it after 21 years. Thank you, man. So, all of you. So, those people think either of this answer will not be. What will be the answer then? Third answer. All right. Let me ask my father. Sorry. They know. Let me run my SQL Server. My godfather right now is SQL Server. My SQL Server will tell me and I will listen that. Awesome. Who said this answer will get this? What happened? It's a simple thing. Aren't we learned database? And you know what? Forget about SQL Server. This is true in any database. Honestly, this is the T-SQL or just pure SQL. Forget about it. SQL. What happened? I mean, aren't you guys at least have experience of some months? Yeah. Last time I said year and somebody said, no, I have only 11 months. So that's why I'm being technically correct here. Yeah, we have some experience and after experience we are doing this. And what is that? Why this is what happened? Who did this? Who did this? Somebody did it. Who said that? Sir, please come here. I don't want to throw. Last time I had a problem. I was threatened for hurting and injuring somebody. Thanks a lot. So, let us see. The right answer, see, I see this all the time. And again, this example is not taken from any book. You know, if you have to find anything, like what we are demonstrating today is not on any of the webcasts or not in book. This is coming pure from my experience of database technology. I've been working from the database technology. Actually, I was introduced when I was born, but I've been working seriously from 7-8 years. So, that's how it is. So, look at this one. The right answer would be to use is null. Because the null is there, because anything which is compared to null becomes unknown. Remember this one. Anything like I often hear, so when I am comparing something to null, what it becomes? No, it doesn't become null. It's not infinite, you multiply with it, become infinite. Yeah, that is mathematics. Null is kind of, when you multiply something with null, it becomes unknown. You know what is null actually? That actually is an interesting thing. So how many finger I got? 5, right? Or 4? Okay, 4 plus 1, 5. Let's call this one as a finger 2. So you know this is the 5 finger, right? All of us know it's 5 finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I say how many finger I have raised? 1. How many? 2, 3, right? But my answer will be always between 0 to 5, correct? This is 0. This will be 5. If I raise finger here, but you know it's between 0 to 5, isn't it? No, 0 means this, 5 means this, so. It is between 0 to 5, isn't it? Yes. So you know the value, you just don't know the real value. Oh, not real means mathematics real, the actual value which I have raised in between. Please guys, let me show you which finger I have raised. So, 1. Now if I bring it in front of you, you guys know it's 1. So point here is, that is what is null. Null doesn't mean, see, when you define a null, when you insert a null in a bit value, right, what it means, either it can be 1 or 0. If you insert a null in the integer field, it becomes any of those values. Hey, that's what it is, my friends. That's what is null. I commonly see null is being confused with infinite. That's mistake. Anyway, coming back to this one, so if you use null, is null, and then you make it a 0, this function what it does, it evaluates the value of post ID, and if it is null, then it makes a 0, then you can start run this one, and then you get a right answer. That's what it is. What is present? That is what we were doing. There is another method as well. You can use not exist. So there are multiple ways you can do. You can use not exist as well, or you can use is null this way. What is my preferred value? I will go for exist because I love exist. Because in certain cases, exist gives you better performance in certain cases. So again, today we are not here to learn about best practices, isn't it? So I'm not going to show you how exist can change your life. That session we'll do sometime when we talk about T-SQL best practices. Today we are talking about first one. So I'll be using is null. No, is null is not still bad. If you don't do it, you see, your result will be incorrect. I can live with anything else, but I cannot live with a bad database consistency. I want my database to give me answer what it should be giving. Performance, secondary. Scalability, secondary. Correct answer, primary. I can't compromise that. Rule number 1. Many times I always say, sometimes some people say, if I do that and maybe there is some error or some value will not be caught or something being inserted, I do not compromise. I'm performance tuning guy, that's what I've been doing all my life, that was I've done. But that's always come secondary, first is data integrity. Are we all clear with this one? Any question on this particular point? Before I go to second demo. See, isNull will give you bad performance if you are using that in a where condition. If you are using in a select, it's not that bad. Again, this is very generic statement. Any function you use is not going to be optimal. That is why exist is the best option to go for. That is what I'm saying. isNull is not the best one. isNull will solve your problem. Best is exist. So, sir, great question. How about we hold it for next 30 minutes? But why I'm telling you to hold it, you will know. Yes, sir.
Whatever you said is correct. Not exist is correct one. Because SQL plan, if you see, if you observe SQL plan, then execution time will be very less. If you use if exist, do something, or if not exist, do something. So really, SQL plan, if you observe, so it is execution time will be compared to less. Like if you are not using, it will be more. If you use, it is very good. Like execution time will be less.
Okay, so these two result, I am comparing the execution plan. They are same right now. In this particular case, they are behaving the same. So that is why I was not going in that direction. But you are right, very right. I respect you. As I said, in certain cases, exist will help you, but not in all the cases. In this case, exist is not helping you anywhere. Actually, isNull is doing as good as in exist in this particular cases. That's why I wanted to hold his question also. So both of you are absolutely right. I prefer exist, as I said, but certain cases it helps. Anyway, let me go to very quickly the next one. Great questions. Guys, you can come up and collect this small goodie as soon as second. Let me build my second result set, and I'm going to show you something very interesting. So I have this result set, and this is a cells representatives, okay? So Jacob is a very good friend of mine who helped me to make this particular presentation as well. So Jacob has made 2 cells. You can clearly see Jacob has made 2 cells, right? Pinal, who has done 3 cells, right? How many cells Mike has done? 0. Okay, you guys got it, right? Okay. This. How many, Steve? My 0 looks like 6. I will mark as a homework. Okay, so I understand. Jacob, 2 cells. Pinal has 3 cells. Very good. Now I'm going to go further and I'm going to show you something very interesting. So I want to know, I just want to count it, right? The thing which we have done manually looking at the screen, how will you do it? I'm just counting it. Jacob 2, Pinal 3. Makes sense, isn't it? I mean, this is what you want, this is what we talked about. But if the question was that, hey, I want to see the people. I want to see the people who has made a cell equal to 0. How will I do it? Who said left first? Please, please raise your hand. Oh man, 2 people. Please, give it to 2 and 1 to Lohit. Oh, okay. You are asking me. Oh, okay, fine. You are pointing out. You're such a nice guy. Okay, fine. So left, right? Let me do the left one. Absolutely right. Get it back. Take it back from them now. You did a mistake. It's her fault. No, please keep it. I'll tell you. There isn't it. Look at this one. Mike and Steve has 1 now. What happened? You guys were right. What happened now? I mean, I use left also. Hey, this is the basic T-SQL, isn't it? See, I didn't want it to today. I know this was the last session, so I didn't want it to go to some 300 level session or 400 level session. Some other day we'll do it when this guy give me the level session number 1. Today, in a last session, tell me, sir, what happened? What went wrong? Why left join didn't do our task? Let me go back to T-SQL, okay? So then you guys help me again. Help me. Anybody raise the hand and answer? No, 1 second. You're saying something. I don't understand. Then I will ask you, sir.
No, you have given the yes dot name. If you give O dot name, it will be 0.
Okay. Order name. Okay. What are you saying? Yeah, 1 answer. Oh, it returned null and null is counted as 1. Null is nothing, isn't it? We compare something to null, become unknown. Okay. So how should I fix it? Oh yeah, that's okay. I agree with you, all of you guys. Let's put it that way. How should I fix it? Subquery? Count of order ID? Let's see. Yeah, count of order ID. You said it first, right? Okay, so that was it. So, be very please. So, as soon as I'm run away, I will stop the session itself. So, my point was that, yeah, you are very right. You need to see, when you use a star, it definitely returns a null, and that particular row becomes itself it counts. Star is nothing but counting number of the rows. Many times people say, am I using count star, is it bad? See, this question, when I get it, I become silent. I just don't know. You want row, number of the rows, then you want a star. And what you want cannot be bad. How can it be bad? Think about this way. You want number of the rows in a table, you will just do count star. Then somebody says, well, what about primary key? Who is telling us that, this will be unique and all this kind of thing, right? So if it is unique, fine. But then what happens if you combine primary key, like 2 columns are primary key? So there are many ways. Then somebody says, go to systable, do that. Hey, your business rules. Star is not always bad. Make sure not always bad. It can be bad also many times. When you just plainly use it. Select star from a table. Just worst practices ever. Number one worst practice, when you use select star. People always talk about network traffic, but there are more bad thing to it. Again, as I said, I don't want to talk about commonly known worst practices. So see if you can stay away from the star. My preference, I don't like star. I don't like it. I see if I can avoid it, because this kind of error, when it will be introduced, I have no clue. So stay away from it. That's a good idea to do it. But if you need it, then there is nothing else you can do except using a star. Fine. So this is done. Man, good. This session is really going good. So again, third demo, right? Ready? I'm running the third demo. Again, I know you guys have no clue what I'm going to do now. So I'm going to do first and then going to ask you a question. I'm just selecting the orders from this table. So I have randomly generated a table orders, and I inserted everything into table orders. Now I want to retrieve data from the orders, okay? That's the only thing I have to do. So I'm creating an index also. So I'm creating index on reference number and amount. Fine. Okay, I have two select statement. Reference number, okay, reference number, which is indexed. So I see index is also a lot of myth related to index. One of the fine day, I'll come again and present on a subject called the evils of index. So right now, this session is not only about how index can not help you. So all the question related to that we will put on a side. After the session, I'll be standing outside and you can ask me the question at the time. Okay? So bad practices of index is not our goal. Today we are talking about T-SQL. So again, coming back to this one, which one of this will give you optimal performance? How many of you think the number one, please raise the hand. The number one will give you optimal performance. Number one when I say, which is this one. Sir, we are going to come to that in a second. Great question. Great question. Appreciate it. I'll come back to you in a second. So how many of you think right now? No. Sir, you will understand why I'm telling you to hold on. So how many of you think the first one will be optimal? No condition, man. Yes or no. Be a lawyer today. If you talk about if condition, like somebody asks you, should I go left or right, or should I, said, if somebody says, should I leave or should I die? I said, if you want to die, you die. If you want to live. No, give one answer. Okay? How many of you think first one will be optimal? Raise the hand. I know I didn't show you some of the things, which I'll show you in a second. How many of you think the second one will be optimal? Great. Why? Why the second one? Okay. Great answer. Hold on. Let me see it. So I got this answer. And I'm going to see the execution plan, okay? Oh, top one worked worst. The second one did optimal, sir. Why is it so? So, actually you get 2. This sir. Sir in middle. Okay. So, why? Why is it so? It's very simple. Anybody want to take a try, sir? You're not allowed to speak. I already gave you this one without you say anything. You know the answer. Huh. Scan and seek. Seek really help to improve the performance. This one, this give you optimal performance. Okay. It all thing goes back. See, this kind of thing happens, and many times people say my index is not doing optimal, and they try to change the index. Hold on.
Because I am looking the whole table, that's why scan is used there.
Oh, okay. That's what, oh, you are speaking from there. I was looking at that guy. You know those kind of feeling, you are talking like that and somebody else is speaking. Okay, fine. Good. So, sir, a very close answer. All of you get a close answer. So, the reason is very simple. Let's go back to the fundamentals. Nothing to do with, so same index was created. Guys, not same index. Only one index is created. And both the cases table is been completely going through. And only one result is being written in both the case. Let's go back to the original question. Look at the data type of reference number, which is varchar. So this is the best practices when you are using a comparison. When you are using a comparison, make sure your data type matches. Even though there is the reference number, right, which was a varchar. You want to compare something to varchar, compare with a varchar only. If something is n varchar, use the n varchar also before it. Yeah, these are the best practices. Even if, like many people ask me, does it apply to integer, big integer? Oh, technically, yes. Well, sometimes it doesn't make much of the performance difference. Here there is a vast performance difference, but not all the time. But the best practices here is always, if you use any inappropriate conversion, SQL Server will internally have to explicitly convert it also. There are cases where SQL Server have to use internal convert implicit function, and that also loses the performance. Sir, that question, one of your question I put it pending will come afterwards yet. So that is what it is. So make sure your data type is absolutely right, sir. Hold your question. Great question.
If you have a date data type, so which side of we have to...
So that's a great question. What the question is that what happens if you have date data type? Hold your question, sir. Okay? I will see when I say hold your question, I'm going to answer it before I go out from this stage in next 17 minutes. If I don't answer, shoot me when I go out. Some of the guys has already practiced it. They are showing me the red dots. So I try to move very fast when they show the red dots. This particular guy in front also does that. Then I realized it was camera, but you know, those 30 seconds. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to very quickly, for a demo purpose, I am going to drop an index which I have created, and I'm now changing the table, order table to the integer. Okay? Previously it was varchar, now I am made an integer. Once again I'm creating the same index which I had created again. Again, now you are welcome to my comparison world. What happened first time? Let me summarize it for a second, okay? First time, both were varchar, so varchar give you optimal performance. Guy on the last, can you see it? I don't want you guys to say afterward when I go outside, like we couldn't read it. Full house, man, I like it. Anyway. Thank you. Thank you. I know all of you guys need a neck exercise. That is why. Thank you. Anyway, okay, coming back. Even he laughed. But you know, that distance is too low. We'll listen afterward. So here, which one will give us optimal performance? Now, whoever give me right answer will get this again. First one? First one? Who is saying second one? Hey, somebody has to say always this odd answer. Why? Because I don't like anybody. I'm going to be like that. Sorry. So here when I see very clearly this is 50%, this is 50%, both of them are same. And both of them, if you see very quickly, both of them are sick. This is sick. Yes, sir. Both give the optimal answer. Another worst practices I like to always talk about. if your data is going to be integer, always make it integer. Why SQL Server? What happened here? What happened, right? I mean, in case of the integer, both of them are same. Suddenly, all the fundamental we learned like 3 minutes ago, garbage. So now all of you, those two people said same, has to tell me why. Then it's right. It's easy to answer. It's interesting to justify. Sir, non-cluster is fine, sir. Cluster, non-cluster, same here. But it's a great attempt. Previously, it was non-cluster as well. So situation is same. But why in integer, suddenly SQL Server decided I'm going to do? Don't say it's bug. I see that guy who raising hand. I know I met him one more time. Don't look at him back, sir. Look at me. Yeah, I mean, one guy was, yes, sir, not bug. Yeah. No, sir. I can't refresh the database. It's how it is. Hey, if you have to refresh the database, that will be very interesting. Refresh the database. There should be button, Control F5. No, sir. It's not there. Give me your kitchen. I'm just kidding. Yes, sir. Hold on. He said something. Very good, sir. Thanks a lot for telling us. Actually, if you guys have paid attention to this complete conversation, I had mentioned this scenario will happen. And I have clearly mentioned, when you see the video back end, you will realize I had given an answer and then asked a question. But it is one of those movies, right, which runs in reverse. So, thank you, sir. So what is happening is that certain cases, implicit conversion will happen. This is the answer to date type 2. Sometime in implicit conversion will happen, sometime not, based on which side your data type is. There is something called data type chain, or I forgot exact name. Data type precedence or something like that. So if one is before something, then it will do implicit conversion. Otherwise, implicit conversion will not happen. So there's those kind of rules are there. There are pages I will definitely share with you. So yes, so that is the reason. Because of implicit conversion function has happened, this particular behavior which we are seeing right now. So what will be my suggestion, or just one takeaway from this 1 minute, is that if you can have a data type which is common to integer, have it. Again, I really wanted to show this one with, just 3 days ago, one of the person I have seen was writing it, send me query on my blog. How many of you read my blog? Okay, everybody. Great. Except you guys who didn't raise the hand. Anyway. So I see one of the person sent me query that I want to check a status. And he has a status yes and no. And I said, why? Because that's what I'm passing from my application. Then the question still says, so why? Question has been moved to the application. Why? You should be not doing it. If it is a status or something like 1 and 0, then just have use of integer. Even if you have 3 status, right? 1, 0 and 2, yes, no, and maybe, then have an integer also mapped to them. So if you can have a comparison with integer, at the end of the day, it will help. So be very careful when you are using an integer or varchar or something like that. So this is one of the very simple things. Status, you just need 1, 0 and something like that. Then just use integer. I'm a big fan of integer. Great, man. This is really going very well, session. Final demo. Last 10 minutes of the day. Again, if you want to see something interesting, I'll show you today, right now in this one. This is a little bit brain teasing. Not every time we use it, but let's try to do it. Again, same kind of data set I have. And do you see this? Do you use ever? Like if somebody comes and asks you, please get me the data of the year 2010, month February. Have you ever get this kind of question? Ever for one particular month? Yeah, we get it, right? And do you write anything different than this? Most of the time we write something like that. And that's fine. I mean, what else are you going to write? I mean, certain times, even though there is a one way, it's a one way. I mean, and fine, your business is calling for you. Sorry about that. I had to run this one before. So, yeah, data came out. Fine. Must be some result is here. I can see the year. Fine. No problem. I'm just creating index on the top of it. But before I run, I want to just quickly check the execution plan of the thing which we have run. Let us see the execution plan here. Let us see if it is a seek or scan. It is definitely scan. Scan is not the optimal for us. Scan is not optimal for us. Just take this one particular statement for a while. We want a seek to happen because seek is optimal. And again, this is in a quote. Sometimes scan is better, sometimes seek is off. As I said, we are not here to talk about indexes. Next time I'll talk about indexes. Okay? So today we are just take this one particular statement. We want to achieve a seek. Seek is not there, so what I'm missing, maybe I need to create an index on it. Now I'm creating indexes on it. So index on order date. Yes, sir, I'm finishing in 10 minutes. Fine, order date. I created index on it. Now see the beauty of the seek. How many things seek will come? All of you suddenly got smart. Now you guys figured out how I do demo. Fine. Yeah, same tables can happen. Because when you use any kind of function in a where condition, it's going to not use your index which you have created. It's always going to default to the index, other index, which is not on that column, or the index which is all the row. Which index has all the row? Your cluster index will have either all the row or all the columns. Sorry about that, all the columns. So it will always fall back to your cluster index. Or maybe if there is no cluster index. What did you say, sir? Last one, sir, again.
Probably index on that.
That's an excellent answer. Actually, that is right answer, sir. That's very good. Give us, sir, a different gift this time. So, okay, you are very right. That is something is the next level, so we are not going today. What he has said is that create a computed column and create indexes on it. That's optimal answer, best answer, but not always feasible. But that's the right answer. If you just deadly need it, you need it. That's the best answer. If you have to use function, then that is 10 times better than that, or maybe 11. Anyway, so I'm seeing which is the common way you can fix it for a moment, is that this is something you can do. So what you can do, you can just write down greater than and less than, this kind of sign, greater than equal to, less than equal to. So same thing, let us see right now. Yep, we got a seek. Seek is definitely better. So again, you know how much work you have to do. Here anyway you have to write the same thing, because here this is a function. This is a function. So see if you can avoid using function in your where clause. Try to find a workaround. Yes, sir.
If you look at the execution plan, internally it converted month to date part, and then year to again the date part.
This one.
What happens if I say where date part of order date, whatever, and then run the query? Will it be optimal?
Still same, sir. Actually, if you use that particular one, what you ask about, if you use date part, then it will be still not optimal. Because what SQL Server does, as soon as you use, date part is at the end of the day function. You use any function. Even convert implicit will happen automatically internally, it is going to give you the scan. So if your data type doesn't match, convert implicit function will be used internally, and that will also force you to do scan. Optimal way to do is that if you find a workaround, say either in this case of the date, you can definitely specify the range, and SQL Server will take that only range and will scan it. Pardon, sir? Null will be not qualified for this one, so null will be not resulted. If you want a data which is a null, will be not retrieved by this one. But if you want order date which is equal to null and you want to retrieve, you want to specify and order date is null. Then you get it out, because you explicitly call for it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So additionally, along with this one, or order date is null. That's something you will do. Yes, sir. We have last 4 minutes, so only last question, then after I will show you very last demo and I will do it.
The between is better or using the separate?
Sir, both of them are internally converted to same thing. So feel comfortable using either of them. That's a great question. But I can't give you anything more now. So I'll answer that question. Yeah. Sir, again you can do that, but if you are using subquery, right?
Yes.
then it will be still end up, SQL Server will be rewriting and you will get a scan. Because at the end of the day, this is subquery.
But I am not using in the where clause. I am using in the select clause.
Then how do you filter this row?
Yes, that is what I am telling.
Please tell us, sir, again.
That select order date amount
Yeah.
from the
Yeah.
bracket, select order date amount, month of order date, year of order date. Then bracket closed as A.
It will have to have a where condition, otherwise it will not filter, sir.
But I am selecting from just a table that is having the computed column.
Right. You are not going to use from order? From? Yeah, but that table will have to have a selective data, right?
Yeah, but there I am using that month and year in the select, so I can have two computed columns. So I am not using that.
Sir, you need to have a where, otherwise it will get it from the whole table.
But I am using where, for example, that computed column, I will give that name something.
Sir, if you want to create computed table in a SQL Server, you have to create a database structure at a schema level. It won't be like that here. How will you create, sir, without where?
Or else I can do one thing.
No, without where, no, hold on for a second. If you need a where, right? Right. Correct. Then it will still do the scan. Because in a where you will need that condition. From inner table, but in a bracket, what will come?
Sir, I can declare two variables.
True.
One is start date, one is end date.
Correct.
And based on that month and year is given as the input.
Right.
I can compute the start date and end date as a variable.
Correct.
And then use that start date and end date.
But so you will use it where? Here?
Yes.
Or in this one?
Because if I think is that as a month and year I am asking, if we think it as a more generally.
See, in year if you use it won't make any difference. It will still do the seek, right? Then it's already optimal. What you are doing is not going to change anything in the second case.
No, sir, I am telling that it is hard-coded. I mean to say that if you write in
that's one of the best. That's a fine, sir. It's passing a variable. I understand now. Oh, you pass a variable. It's fine too.
Okay.
That's okay. That's totally fine. It's like you are defining something as a variable. I only hard-coded here for easy to understand. This is not a real world scenario. So this is just for our understanding. That's why I have hard-coded. You can definitely declare on the top of it and you can use it. But when you use it, what you get a result out of it, it's the same as this one. Or any variable you will pass. This is just for illustration, which we understand simply, we have it. It won't make any difference at all, sir. But great question. Anyway, I will handle all the question afterward because I have only 2 minutes to finish the session, okay? Very last question for you. Please answer me, which one of this will be optimal? The person who gets it gets a t-shirt. Haha. Bumper question. Come and pick it up. So, do you think if you say together it was going to get it? Tell me the reason now. My second one will be optimal, sir. We'll start with this one. At the end of this particular question, I'll summarize everything one more time and then we'll close it. Yes, sir.
It's using an index scan.
Very true. Who else? Anybody else want to try? Why second one will be optimal? Yes, sir. Yes, first one is using function, so that is why it was practices. You are very right. Second one? Implicit conversion will happen. Very right. There is no index on it. Count star. So many reasons. Second one will be bad. Let me run this thing. Okay. Let me ask SQL Server what is right or wrong instead of me making judgment. First one. Whoa. Hold on. First one, scan is happening. Second one, seek is happening. First one is better. I think I'll wear a t-shirt now. Anybody want to just try to justify this answer? I'll give a t-shirt. This is the last minute. Sir, this is the last minute of the day. I'm going home. Sir, both are same actually. Somebody said there is no index. I want him to raise only hand. You are, sir? Sir, this is for you. Sir, you can come or I'll come. Which one you want? Okay, so please understand, index are not always going to help you. Remember I told you that I'm going to talk about it? You need to be, thank you very much for answer. You need to be very careful when you create an index. Even something very simple like count and all these things matter. So when you want to use index, when you not want to use index, index is a pure art. If you are not master in it, don't use it. Let somebody else handle it. At least you don't take blame. Index is pure art. Again, you need to learn it. Plus, minus, some other day. Hey, I remember this one. One of the places where I did index presentation, we did 3D indexes. Because we can hear the index, we can taste the index, we can listen to the index. Some other day we'll talk about it. Thanks a lot for coming. I had a wonderful participant. Because without your few, I could have not done it. And if you guys want to just go to main hall, write my name on the board. Thank you. Thanks a lot for coming. I appreciate it. Truly appreciate it.